Hello everyone, welcome back to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi, dated 30th May 2024. Today, we will be discussing some important topics that has appeared in today's The Hindu and Indian Express newspapers, which are very relevant for your exam. The first topic is an important geographical concept named monsoon that we will try to learn, and especially about the onset of monsoon. After that, we will try to look into an important issue of polity, that is judicial pendency. Then we will try to analyze the efficacy of an important government scheme of Government of India, that is AMRUT Scheme. Then we will try to learn an important economic concept, that is Evergreening of Loans. Then we will try to learn about an important institution named UNCTAD. And at the end, we will try to learn some prelims snippets which will help you in excelling your prelims exam. So stay tuned. So our first topic is onset of monsoon. The context of this particular topic is that as per Indian Meteorological Department, monsoon is set to arrive in Kerala today. So this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims Indian geography and syllabus of your GS paper 1 salient features of world physical geography and important geophysical phenomena. Before starting, let's also learn about some basic things about the IMD. IMD was set up in year 1875 and it comes under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Now, what does onset of monsoon means? It means beginning of 4-month southwest monsoon season, that is from month of June to month of September. Then what does monsoon means? Monsoon means seasonal reversal of winds which is accompanied by the shifting of ITCZ or intertropical convergence zone. Let's try to understand this thing in very detail. What does it means by seasonal reversal of winds and shifting of ITCZ? So ITCZ is a area of low pressure which is generally around the equator where the sun is generally shining. So when sun is shining on the equator and there is lot of heat that is being given on the equator, it leads to creation of a low pressure area. Second is that this is a zone where the tropical winds are converging. So ITCZ is an area of low pressure and the zone of convergence of the trade winds near the equator. Now sun is not throughout the year, the sun throughout the year do not shines at the equator. It moves from equator to Tropic of Cancer and also towards the Tropic of Capricorn. So with the movement of sun, this shift of ITCZ also happens. Means this area of ITCZ is not fixed. With the movement of sun, it also shifts. When the sun will be shifting towards Tropic of Cancer, means when the sun will be shining on the Tropic of Cancer, this ITCZ will also shift somewhat towards the zone of Tropic of Cancer. It is like if you are watching a movie and then as the movie furthers, the story furthers, the life of actor also changes, the life of actress, all the support cast, villain, etc. everyone is changing. The life of everyone is changing. The similar case is the sun is like a movie. As it is moving towards Tropic of Cancer, the ITCZ is also shifting, then there is seasonal reversal of winds is also happening and other seasonal and climatic phenomena are changing. Now what does it mean by seasonal reversal of winds? As we have said that this ITCZ is shifting towards this Tropic of Cancer. Now these easterlies which are there, now they also cross the equator, and when they are crossing the equator, there is a basic concept that in the northern hemisphere, the winds move towards the right of its propagation, or we can say due to the effect of Coriolis force in the northern hemisphere, the winds deflect towards its rightwards. Now when this tropical easterlies will cross the equator, it will move towards the right side. Now they will become the southwest monsoon or the southwest winds. Now, so these tropical easterlies, when after the shifting of ITCZ, when they cross the equator, they deflect towards the rightwards, and now they have changed their course and became the southwest winds. Now, when they will be reaching here on the Kerala coast, for example, during the onset of monsoon and then further towards the other parts of Indian subcontinent. So, these winds also contains the moisture that they are getting from the sea, and when these moisture, they are coming with this moisture towards the land area, the condensation happens and precipitation happens. So, after the movement of ITCZ or shifting of ITCZ, seasonal reversal is also happening. Trade winds are now becoming the southwest winds. They are also bringing the moisture from the sea, and that moisture, when it is condensing or precipitating, we say this is a season of monsoon, or these are the monsoon laden winds and rain. And that is what about the basics of the monsoon and onset of monsoon. Now, what are the factors that affect the monsoon? First is the differential heating and cooling of land and water. Okay, as you know that land heat faster than the water, and the land area loses heat faster than the water, means it warms faster and it loses its heat faster as compared to its area surrounding the water, means water area takes little longer time in warming and it loses heats at a slower rate as compared to the area of the land. Now, when the sun is somewhere near the Tropic of Cancer, this area of land gets heated, whereas the apparent area of the sea doesn't lose its heat as compared to the loses its heats at a much slower rate than the rate at which the area of the land is losing its heat. So now there is differential heating. There is difference between the heat components of the water areas and the heat components of the land areas. So when there will be greater heating in this area of the land, there will be low pressure condition, whereas the water is taking little longer time in heating, and that is why there will be high pressure. So here in the water areas there is high pressure, whereas in the land areas there is low pressure. So the winds will move from high pressure area to low pressure area, but wind will not go alone, it will also contain the moisture, and when these moisture laden winds will come towards this land area, the condensation and precipitation will happen. So the first reason for the onset of monsoon is the differential heating and cooling of the land and water. Second is the ITCZ or intertropical convergence zone that we have just discussed in very detail, that with the shifting of these ITCZ, the monsoon laden winds, the seasonal reversal of winds happen. These monsoon laden winds, the moisture laden winds come towards the land areas, towards the Indian subcontinent, and that leads to the rainfall in the major areas of the Indian subcontinent. Now, the third reason is the intense heating of Tibetan Plateau. Somewhere here Tibetan Plateau is located. Now, what happens when the sun is shifting towards the Tropic of Cancer? Here, due to the apparent movement of sun towards the Tropic of Cancer, there is lot of heat that is being provided by the sun, and this Tibetan Plateau gets heated. Now, as you know, when it will be heated, there will be low pressure area that will be generated here, whereas as compared to these areas where water is present, there will be high pressure. So this Tibetan heating of Tibetan Plateau and creation of low pressure areas in Tibetan Plateau also attract these moisture laden winds, these southwesterly winds towards the Indian subcontinent, and that is also one of the reason why these monsoon comes towards the Indian subcontinent area. So the third reason that we have discussed is the intense heating of the Tibetan Plateau. Then the movement of westerly jet stream. Jet stream are some of the, we can say, the upper air circulations that is mainly situated between the troposphere and stratosphere. It is almost 10 to 14 kilometers above the earth's surface, and these jet streams are also one of the major factors that influences the monsoon in India. Now, when this ITCZ is shifting towards the Tropic of Cancer, these tropical westerly jet stream is shifting outside the India, means it is going outside the India, it is going northward of the Himalayas, and tropical easterly jet stream comes towards the Indian subcontinent, and that is also one of the reason that moving out of the tropical westerly jet stream and coming out of tropical easterly jet stream. These tropical easterly jet stream also attract the southwest winds or the moisture laden winds towards the Indian subcontinent, and that also play a very major role in influencing the monsoon, in attracting the monsoon winds toward the Indian subcontinent. Now the another reason is the high pressure area near the Madagascar. Though Madagascar is a country situated near the African continent, so there is high pressure area in the Madagascar. So that, and due to the heating here in the Indian subcontinent, it creates low pressure area, and in the Madagascar area there is a high pressure. So that also leads to the apparent movement of wind, moisture laden winds towards the Indian subcontinent. So these were some of the reasons that we have just discussed that leads to the onset of monsoon. Now, there were two divisions of monsoon. First is the southwest monsoon season, which is mainly seasonal in character and occurs between June and September. So what happens? The southwest monsoon first hits either the Coromandel coast areas of Kerala, etc. But it is parallel to the Tamil Nadu coast, and that's why Tamil Nadu do not get lot of rain due to the southwest monsoon. But there is Arakan mountain range here in the Myanmar region. Now these southwest monsoon winds, when they will hit this Arakan mountain range, this mountain range will deflect these monsoon winds towards the Bangladesh, West Bengal and Indo-Gangetic plain, and that is one of the reasons that this area of Indo-Gangetic plain gets rain from the monsoon, that after southwest monsoon in particular, after getting deflected from the Arakan mountain range. Second is that the retreating mountain season, which is marked by the clear skies and rise in temperature. It is mainly occurs in the months of October and November and are known as the retreating monsoon, as the sun will move again from Tropic of Cancer towards the equator. Now these monsoon laden winds will also try to move towards the equator from the tropical areas. So this is a phenomena, we can say, that the retreating monsoon season comes. Now these winds that are coming back towards the later part of southern part of Indian subcontinent will also create some of the rainfall in the major areas, but it also leads to increased temperature, and a phenomena named October heat is seen, where there is very high humidity and high temperature in the month of October. So these retreating monsoons is one of the major factors that Tamil Nadu and areas surrounding gets rainfall. So these were the two divisions. Here one more thing that I want to explain here is that this is a, we can say, southwest monsoon, but in the retreating monsoon it is mainly the northeastern winds are there which are coming back towards the equator in the retreating monsoon season or retreating monsoon phase. Now what are the impacts of monsoon? There are wide ranging impact of monsoon on both Indian agriculture, economy and other dimensions. First is that almost 70% of India's irrigation needs are fulfilled by the monsoon only. 64% of population is dependent on agriculture, and when this 64% population is dependent on agriculture and 70% irrigation needs are being fulfilled by the monsoon, we can think that how important India, for the India's agricultural productivity, for India's food security needs, monsoon is. So monsoon is very important for India's food security and agricultural needs. That's why we see when there is a very low monsoon or breaks in the monsoon, it leads to reduced agricultural productivity. The agricultural production reduces and that leads to losses to the farmers. Okay. Then the other impacts is the crop diversity. Okay. When this monsoon comes, it provides sufficient irrigation, it provides sufficient waters to the cropping needs of the farmers, and that leads to different crops that are being grown. Okay. Whether it is Kharif crop or Jayad crops, etc. And at the later part, Rabi crops also while in a phase of retreating monsoon. So this monsoon also provides lot of crop diversity, where the farmers are not only limited to one particular crop, rather they produce different kind of crops. Then when this production is happening at a very large scale, okay, India has become one of the highest producers of some of the major crops, and horticulture production has surpassed the food grain production. That leads to a better export potential, where India can export some of the food grain material, some of the horticulture products to the different nations, and that can help us in getting a better economic growth and better economic development. Apart from this, it will also help in hydroelectric power generation. How? With the coming of the monsoon, it leads to recharge of dams and different reservoirs, and that's help in better hydroelectricity generation throughout the year. It also impacts our culture. During the monsoon season, under the different parts of our country, there are different festivals that are celebrated, like festival of Teej, majorly that is celebrated in the northern part of our country. Then there are different attires, that attire diversity is also provided by the monsoon season. Then there is different cuisine diversity that is being provided by the monsoon. We all can relate with the feeling that where we have a kind of tendency to eat pakoda and chai at the onset of the monsoons. Apart from positive impacts, there are some negative impacts also, okay, like the floods, the landslides, that leads to loss of loss of life and property, and so that is also one of the negative impacts of the monsoon. Now, this is a previous year question that was asked in prelims 2014. The seasonal reversal of winds is the typical characteristic of the third option, monsoon climate, is correct. So this was a very basic question that was asked from this particular topic. So our next topic is judicial pendency. The context of this particular topic is that a write-up has appeared recently which is emphasizing on the various structural issues leading to the judicial pendency. There are some experts who believed that the long holidays during the summer vacations are one of the reasons for the high judicial pendency, but this particular article emphasized that there are other structural issues which are some of the major factors or the major reasons for the high judicial pendency. So this particular article relates with the syllabus of your GS2, structure and functioning of judiciary. Now let's try to understand some background. As per the National Judicial Grid, which provides us the details and data about the cases that are going on in the different courts of India. As per this National Judicial Grid, almost 60,000 cases are pending in Supreme Court, and more than 40 lakh cases are pending in the High Courts of India, and almost 2.85 crore cases are pending in the lower courts. So almost more than 4.1 crore cases are pending in India at this point of time. So if you see in this particular diagram, you will see the Allahabad High Court and Bombay High Court are some of the courts where there is very high pendency of the cases, if we talk about the high courts in particular. And Uttar Pradesh is one of the states where there is very high pendency of cases. Apart from the high courts, there are very high number of cases that are pending in the lower courts also. So what are the reasons for this higher judicial pendency? The first is the vacancy. Vacancy in both the cases of number of judges in the different courts of India, number of administrative staff like registrar, etc., and number of lower level officials like clerks, etc., stenographers and other people. So this high vacancy in the judiciary is one of the reasons for the high judicial pendency. As per the data from the Law Ministry, almost the sanctioned strength of judges in the high courts, okay, it is almost 1114, whereas at present working strength is only around 774. At present, almost more than 300 plus vacancies are there in the high courts of India where judges are not present. Apart from this, at this point of time, the Supreme Court is working in its full strength. The number of sanctioned strength is 34 and the working strength is also 34. Now, I want to ask a question to you people, that if we want to increase the number of sanctioned strength in the Supreme Court of India, who have the authority to increase the strength of judges in India? I will give you 4 options. number A, Parliament, option B, the CJI of India, C, President of India, or D, none of the above. So you people comment your answers in the comment box. Now coming back to the higher judicial vacancies. Apart from these high courts, at present, as per the data of Law Ministry, almost 5,000 plus vacancies are there in the lower judiciary, and that is also one of the reasons for the higher judicial pendency. Apart from this, the administrative staff, the clerks, Uttar Pradesh is one of the state where there is very high number of vacancies in the administrative staff. So this high number of vacancies is one of the important reason for the high judicial vacancies. The second important factor is the infrastructural issue. When we are talking about the lack of proper infrastructure issue we are talking, then we are talking about the lack of proper courtrooms, proper internet connection, proper technological facilities, due to which there is no seamless litigation that can go on. As per the data of Law Ministry, almost 24,200 judicial officers are there and only 20,143 court halls are there. So that also emphasizes on the point that there is lot of infrastructure deficit while talking about the judiciary. And here almost 620 rented halls are being used for they are the temporary facilities that are being made as a courtrooms. Then only 27% of the judges in India have the computer on the judges dais through which they can do the video conferencing, and that also leads to the slower processing of the case, slow movement of the cases, and that also leads to increased pendency of the cases. So the infrastructure issue is also one of the major factor for the judicial pendency. Then the prolonged court proceedings. Okay, you would have heard that proverb, "Tarikh pe tarikh," and that is also one of the reason for that is the culture of adjournment, where there are frequent dates are being given for any one particular case, and that also leads to increased litigation time and increased pendency of the cases. So this increased proceeding time also increases the pendency of the cases. Then the antiquity of the litigation procedures. There are some cases that are going on for last 50, 60, 70 years, and that is also, it becomes very difficult for a judicial officer to track all the details, to go through all the details of that particular case and then give a proper judgment, because until and unless a proper judgment is given, it will become very difficult for society to move in a better direction to ensure the social justice is prevail in the society. So as per I will tell you a shocking fact. As per the recent data, there was a case named Brahmapur case, which was going on for last 70 years, and after 72 years, the judgment was pronounced by the Calcutta High Court. So you can think about the cases that are pending for last many years, and that is also the one of the reasons for the high pendency, that judicial officers finds very difficult to track the complete details of the one particular case. Then the lack of specialization. Okay, we know, for example, if there is a case related to the NGT, that is National Green Tribunal, now it is more about the environmental issue. It may need some specialization where a particular industries norms, okay, the violation about the norms, the violation of the environmental rules and laws may need some specialized studies by the higher courts to study about that particular case. And there might be a case which some experts believe that these higher judiciary people may not be specialized in that case, and that's why they take little more time to give judgment on that case, to go through that case, to give final verdict on that case. So it's lack of proper specializations according to the different demand of different cases. For if there is a case related to the IPR matter, okay, so there is a need that the judicial officers are well versed with all the specialization. and because due to lack of specialization, it also leads to the slow movement of cases, slow progress of cases, and that also one of the reasons for the high judicial pendency. So, is government doing something for these high pendency of cases? Yes. Recently, government have came with several government initiative to particularly address the issue of higher judicial pendency. The first initiative, abbreviated as SUPACE, the full form of which is the Supreme Court Portal for Assistance in Court Efficiency. It is a composite AI assisted tool which makes all relevant cases available to a judge, legal researcher for making an informed decision. One of the issue that we have just talked about, the higher pendency of cases, is the antiquity of the legal cases. Means it becomes very difficult to track all the details, okay, and it also becomes very difficult to refer to some of the case related to that particular case. For example, if High Court want to give a judgment on this XYZ case, now a similar verdict was pronounced by the Supreme Court under a ABC case. Now this SUPACE will help that this judge, honorable judge of this High Court, have this all the information related to all the case laws that is related to this XYZ case. So they will have all the details related to one particular case properly streamlined. So that will help in reducing the time that a judge will need to study one particular case or the related aspect of that case. The second is the SUVOS, the short term of Supreme Court Vidhik Anuvad software, which is you can say a translator module which will help in translating the Supreme Court judgments into the regional languages, and it will be easier for the people who are not well versed in the English language, so that they can understand all the judgments, the components of the judgment of that Supreme Court judgment. Then there is live streaming of court proceedings. The Supreme Court allowed the live streaming of cases of the constitutional and national importance, and several high courts have also moved on this direction where they are following the live proceedings of the different cases. Then there is one project named e-courts project, where the government is emphasizing on the interlinking of the different courts, providing better internet connection, providing better technological connections, so that the judicial pendency, the pendency of cases can be reduced. So what needs to be done apart from the initiatives that we have talked? First of all is the need for addressing judicial vacancies. As we have just seen that at this point of time, Supreme Court is functioning with its full strength, but there is need that all the vacancies of the high courts and the lower courts are fulfilled without any delay. That will help in ensuring that the judicial pendency is addressed properly. Then there is need for efficient investigation and prosecution. There are times when the police officers do not investigate properly. They do not keep the various evidences properly, and the prosecution also doesn't work properly, and that also leads to a poor case where litigation goes on for various years. The appeals go on from one court to another court, and that leads to higher judicial pendency. So there is need for providing better training to the police officials, to the prosecution, so that they are well prepared for about all the nitty-gritties of the investigation and the prosecution. Then there is need for ramping up infrastructure. Whether here we will talk about the ramping of infrastructure related to the courtrooms, about the technological facilities, computer, internet connection, etc. There is need that all these are provided to the lower courts without any delay at a much faster pace. Then the next is All India Judicial Services, under which some experts believe that a similar kind of All India services like IS and IPS can be made for the judiciary, that can help in fulfilling the vacancies that are there in the lower courts and high courts, and ultimately that can help in addressing the issue of judicial pendency. Here, this is a data of economic survey which says that 100% of clearance rate can be achieved by merely filling the vacancies in the courts. So this also emphasizes on the points that vacancies are one of the major reasons for the higher judicial pendency. Now another information about AIJS is it has been provided under Article 312 that if a Rajya Sabha passes the resolution, all India services other than the IAS, IPS and Forest Service, another service can be created. Now the another thing that needs to be done is the use of technology. The technology like blockchain technology, AI that is being used in the SUPACE that further needs to be improved. So all this technology needs improvement and that needs to be provided to all the lower courts and high courts, and that has to be done at a faster rate to ensure that all the judicial pendency are addressed. There is need for legislative changes where we need to update and amend different obsolete laws that are present in India. As per the economic survey, there is special attention that needs to be given to the district and subordinate courts, particularly where there is very high pendency of cases and very high vacancies in these subordinate and district courts. Apart from this, the economic survey has emphasized that when there is delay in the contract enforcement and the disposable and resolutions of different litigations related to different companies takes higher time, it also reduces the ease of doing business, and that hampers the GDP growth of India, that hampers the economic growth of India. So there is need for special attention towards the judicial pendency, and particularly states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, where there is high pendency of cases as well as the high vacancies in the judiciary, so that a proper disposable of cases can be done at a shorter interval of time. Now, this is one of the practice question that is related to this topic is the discuss the factors contributing to the high pendency of cases in the Indian judiciary, suggest a multi-pronged approach for addressing the issues effectively. This is the mains question you can practice from this topic. So, our next topic is AMRUT Scheme, the context of which is that a write-up has appeared in today's The Hindu newspaper, which is analyzing the progress of AMRUT Scheme in India. Now, this particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC prelims government schemes and syllabus of your GS2 government policies and interventions and welfare schemes. Now, let's try to understand some background of the urban infrastructure scenario in India. Almost 36% of population lives in different cities of India at present, as per the data of 2011 census. Now, as per the World Economic Prospects, till the year 2047, these urban population is going to increase to a level of 50% from 36%. Now, when more people will be living in the cities, when urban population is going to see a rise, there is need for robust infrastructure, where basic facilities like tapped water, proper sewage facilities are provided to the citizens to have a proper life in the cities. As per the World Bank, almost $840 billion will be required to provide the bare minimum infrastructure facilities to provide the bare minimum facilities in the urban population in India. So that's why the government came with AMRUT scheme in year 2015. The full form of which is the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. So it is the aim of this scheme majorly was to improve the quality of life for all the people, particularly the poor and disadvantaged, by providing the basic civic amenities like tapped water, the sewerage facilities, urban transportation facilities and the parks facilities. The mission is primarily concerned with the building the robust infrastructure that directly relates to the improving the citizen's life. So here the scheme majorly focusing on the providing services related to the improvement in the quality of life that people will be getting in the urban spaces. The objective is that to ensure that every household has access to a tap with assured supply of water and a sewerage connection, proper sewage disposable is there. Then increase the amenity value of cities by developing greenery and well maintained open spaces. Here they are focusing on the increasing reforestation, developing proper parks so that proper greenery is developed in the urban spaces. Then it also objective of it, this scheme is to reduce the pollution by switching to the public transport or constructing facilities for non-motorized sports, like facilities for the cycle pedestrian, okay, for making ways for the pedestrians, making ways for the cycles, etc., so that the people who are using cars or the private vehicles may be reduced. Some of the key features that we have discussed is to ensure proper water supply, pedestrian and non-motorized and public transport facilities and parking space, etc., gets developed at a shorter period of time, and effectively this gets developed according to the needs of people. If we talk about the coverage, the mission covers almost 500 cities, that includes all cities and towns with a population of over 1 lakh and with notified municipalities. The achievement, if we talk about that, about this scheme, is that it has ensured that almost 1.3 crore household tap connections are provided to the people living in the urban cities, and almost 102 lakh sewer connections have been provided under this scheme, and that has benefited more than 4 crore people living in the urban areas of India. So let's talk about some of the basic. As we have just discussed that AMRUT was launched in year 2015, whereas AMRUT 2.0 was launched in year 2021, which is focusing on the improving the sewage and septic management. Okay, earlier only the connection to provide connection was the main aim, but now it is to improve the sewage and septic management, means the disposal of this sewage and septic is done sustainably, and the focus is on moving towards a cities which are water safe cities, means people do not face water crisis, people do not face crisis related to the potable water in the different cities of the India. Then it also wants to ensure that no sewage drains anywhere in our rivers, as we have just talked about the sustainable disposing of the sewage water. If we talk about performance of scheme, as per AMRUT dashboard, till May 24, almost 83,357 crore rupees has been disbursed so far, and the amount has been utilized to provide almost 58,66,237 tap connections and over 37,000 sewage connections. A total of almost 2,411 parks have been developed, and almost 62 lakhs LED lights have been replaced to ensure a proper urban life is being provided to the people with the basic bare minimum facilities. Now, what are different challenges in the implementation of this particular scheme? The first is that the scheme is majorly focusing on the project oriented approach rather than a holistic approach, means it is mainly focusing on the providing tap connection, providing sewerage connection. Okay, there is no interlinkages between other dimensions, means where the other dimensions, like there is need for also providing proper houses to the people, there is also need for providing better employment opportunities in the areas where they are living, and other needs, the law and order facilities that needs to be provided. So there is need for holistic approach rather than only focusing on one aspect, that is providing the basic facilities. Okay, and second is that the scheme is more focused about the project completion of project. Okay, that a particular park have been developed, but whether that park is properly approachable by with the people living in that vicinity, whether that park is serving the benefits to that vicinity, that is not being addressed. Means the project is completed and the approach is that now work is done, whereas the thing should be like this, that there is holistic approach that is needed. Means after completion of project, the maintenance of that project, whether that is serving the benefits of the people is not, shall also be looked. So that is one thing that is lacking at this point of time under the AMRUT scheme. Then the second is lack of all stakeholder participation. Mainly the scheme is driven by the bureaucrats and the private companies with minimal involvement from elected city governments, means the elected representatives like mayor of the city, the ward members. Their involvement is very bare minimum while implementing this scheme. It becomes very difficult when they are not being consulted, when they are not being involved, that this scheme is implemented properly, because these ward members understand the situation of their city very well rather than a bureaucrat who is coming from outside. These ward members understand the problems, the needs of that city very well rather than that bureaucrats. So when there is no or very less involvement of these elected representatives, it becomes very difficult for a proper implementation of that scheme. Then the dominance of non-elected officials. As we have just talked, that there is more involvement of bureaucrats, people who have been hired by the private agencies. Okay, their involvement is much more rather than the elected representatives, and that is also violation of the 74th constitutional amendment, which has provided for the elected representatives in the different urban local bodies. For example, the apex committee that is headed by Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs Secretary, and the state committees are led by the chief secretaries. There is no elected representative who is heading these apex committees in the center and state level. That is also leads to the issue of lack of stakeholder management or lack of stakeholder involvement in the implementation of this scheme. Then there is what the scheme is doing, there is kind of uniform implementation throughout the different states, okay, and that is leading to neglection of the local needs. For example, if there is any hill state, okay, providing sewage treatment, providing a tap connection, the needs of that state will be different rather than a state like Kerala. So scheme is not well versed with the local needs, and that also create a major issue. Then use of obsolete technology. At present, the scheme has not updated itself. Providing tapped connection water or for the sewage treatment, they are almost using the same obsolete technology that they were using traditionally, and that is leading to the inefficient design of these sewage treatment plants or the sewage treatment connections, and that leads to clogging of these sewage, etc. And all these issues are also can be seen by this fact that in 2016 the disease burden due to unsafe water and sanitation is 40 times higher in India when we compared it with the China. That shows us that there is lack of potable water, there is lack of proper sewage connections, and that is much more worse than the condition of the China, whose population we have just surpassed. Then the average water supply per person in urban India is only 69.25 liters per day, whereas the required amount is 135 liters. Okay, you have often seen in different news snippets or the news reportings that there are several parts of Delhi itself who do not get proper waters. Okay, people who will be living in the Karol Bagh areas would be also facing the crisis of water. No proper supply is there. So what should be the way forward? There is need for nature-based solution like we properly construct wetlands, properly construct natural green spaces. Okay, bioswales are constructed where it leads to a proper channels where water during the rainy season goes towards the rivers without any hindrance. Then there is need for rejuvenating the natural wetlands, then the mangroves and the reforestations can also be developed. So when these natural solutions will come, it will help in better efficiently implementation of the AMRUT like scheme. Then there is need for comprehensive methodology with people centric approach. Here all the stakeholders, whether the elected governments, the NGOs, civil societies, all needs to be properly consulted so that the scheme can be better implemented. Then there is need for empowering the local bodies. The local bodies can be given fund. That has also been advocated time and again by the Finance Commission and different other commissions, that they will be able to better implement these schemes and they will be given funds. So there is need for empowering the local bodies both financially, both administratively and everywhere. Then there is need for water management in cities, that these water management should be consider the local factors like the climate, rainfall patterns and the existing infrastructure that are there in that particular city. Now, our next topic is an important economics topic, that is evergreening of loans. The context of this topic is that RBI has recently put restrictions on several companies on the backdrop of concerns related to the evergreening of loans. So, RBI have restricted several companies like ARC and ECL Finance. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your UPSC Prelims Indian economy and syllabus of your GST banking sector and NBFCs and mobilization of resources. So what does evergreening of loans means? It refers to the practice of extending a new loan to a borrower to pay an older debt. Okay, let's suppose, take an example, this is a person named A and this is a person named B. Now B have given 100 rupees loan to A, and A has promised that he will return his money in 1 month. Now 1 month have passed and it has been more than 1 month. A hadn't returned money to B. Now B has again given 20 rupees to A, that for the reason that A returned that 20 rupees money. Okay, it is like giving again same amount of money or less amount of money to the people who have already taken money from us. A has already taken 100 rupees from B. Again B is giving 20 rupees to A, that A repay that money to B. It is like that there is an outstanding debt already there, and now again same person is giving money or same bank is giving money to repay that loan. The same thing is happening with the banks. That bank have given some loan to this person, let's suppose A, and they have given 1 lakh rupees loan to this person A. Again the same person is getting loan from the bank. Okay, like let's suppose here the bank has given again 50,000 to the person A, that he repay that loan, that he has outstanding loan on the banks. Okay, so this is what the basically means of the evergreening of loans. Why will the scenario like evergreening of loans will happen? Okay, why will bank do this kind of things? To maintain an illusion of ongoing financial stability by continuously obtaining new loans to cover the existing obligations. Okay, so banks do these evergreening of loans to avoid recognizing the non-performing assets on their balance sheets. Okay, NPAs are those kind of loans where the principal or the interest amount is pending for more than 90 days. So if a loan is not being repaid, okay, so that will be categorized under the NPAs, and that will hamper the profitability of the banks. To not keep that outstanding debt, outstanding loan under the balance sheet of the banks, bank have further given loans to ensure that loan which was being outstanding on one particular person who have taken loan from the bank have again given loan to that person A, so that that loan which was outstanding do not come under the NPA category. So this is the first reason, and second is to maintain a positive relation with the borrowers. Okay, let's suppose there is this person A have a very good relation with this bank. Okay, now the person A have taken loan, he had not repaid that loan to the bank, but the bank manager and the bank have a very good relation with the person A, and that's why bank do not want to get their relationship deteriorated. Then the banks is again extending the loan to person A, and that is the reason why this evergreening of loans happens. So the two reasons, first is to avoid the recognizing NPAs, and second is to maintain a proper relation with the borrowers. And that's why when these loans will not be categorized under the NPAs, okay, it will give you an illusion, it will give us a false picture of the condition of the bank, of the false picture of the balance sheet of the banks, false picture of the profitability of the banks. Okay, so what are the various risks associated with the evergreening of loans? First is that it inflates the quality of the institution's loan portfolio. It can mislead the investors, regulators and the public about the financial health. For example, there was one bank. Okay, now there are some people who wants to invest in this particular bank. Okay, but these particular bank have time and again evergreening the loans of different people. So that is not a true picture of the financial health of that bank. So when this will not be good on part of people who want to invest in that particular bank, because this is inflating the quality of the loan portfolio of that bank. This is not giving the true picture of that bank, and the person who are investing in that bank, their investment may get impacted, may get caught in the poor cycle of this loan management. Then this can also lead to cycle of increasing debt. Okay, now this bank has given, what does it mean? This bank have given some loan to the person A. Okay, let's suppose 1 lakh rupees. Then again it has extended 50,000 that this person will repay that 1 lakh. But this person A is very notorious and he have not repaid that 50,000 also. Okay, now the outstanding debt had increased to more than 1.5 lakh. Again the bank has somewhat given 40,000 and 30,000. Again the person is not repaying. So it is like increasing the debt burden again and again, and it is like creating a cycle where debt is increasing time and again. And the banks should understand that this is a short term solution. This is not the long term solution, and bank will caught up in a very poor vicious cycle, and it can lead to a cycle of increasing debt and further financial instability. Okay, we are just talking about 1 lakh rupees that the bank will be giving to person A. Okay, these evergreening of loans happen in terms of 1,000 crores. Okay, and thousands in crores happen that are being taken by the different companies. Okay, so when this will lead to increasing debt burdens and increasing NPAs of the bank, it can hamper the financial stability of the bank, and it can also hamper the overall economic stability of the country. Then it is also problematic for the overall stability of financial system, because it masks the true extent of bad loans in the economy, and it can create the systematic risk where situation like bank failures and bank run can happen. And next is, it is also a sign of misgovernance, because the person who want to invest, okay, in this particular bank, or the information that we have to give to the government, the financial data, when we are not providing true picture, it is a sign of misgovernance. And time and again CBI have registered several cases against the different members of the boards who are serving under different banks on the cases on the allegations of the evergreening of loans to their near and dear ones. Then it also contributes to the crowding out effect, and it hampers the valuable resource because they are now being misallocated. Now the same example, this person A have already taken 1 lakh rupees for, let's suppose, for some establishment of any business, but he have not used that loan, and he have expended that money in gambling or any other activities. Now again the bank have given 50,000 this person to person A, again 40,000. Now this 90,000 that bank have again given to this person A, that can be allocated, or that can have been used, that can be given to any person who has better credit worthiness. The person, any person to who is in dire need of funds, who is who is a very diligent person, who have a better credit worthiness. And that's why this leads to crowding out effects, means some of the investment that could have been done is not going to happen in the economy. So what is the way forward? As per the PJ Nayak committee, which was formed on the governance in the different bank boards, they said that there is significant evergreening is detected by the RBI supervisor, and it must mean that there is this evergreen that is happening is willful. So PJ Nayak committee also said, when there is audit by the RBI, if they are detecting any evergreening of loans, it should be presumed that this was a willful evergreening, and that those persons involved should be punished, and there should be penalties. Then there is need for robust audit mechanism, okay, either by RBI or different audit agencies. There is need for more use of technology like blockchain, AI, so that these types of activities like evergreening of loans can be detected properly. Then there is need for changes in the laws of the land, laws of the countries, where the proper penalties and punishments processes can be subjected to the people who are doing these kind of activities like evergreening of loans, that can hamper the economic growth and economic stability of the country. So our next topic is UNCTAD. The context of this particular topic is, as per UNCTAD, the global trade disruptions are leading to higher temperature. What does it mean? It means that due to the global trade disruptions, the ships are taking more time in the sea, and that is leading to increased use of fossil fuels, increased carbon emissions, and ultimately it is fueling the higher temperatures in the world. This particular topic pertains to syllabus of your GS2 important international institutions and syllabus of your GS3 growth and development. Let's try to understand the basics of UNCTAD. The full form is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. It is an intergovernmental organization that promotes the interest of developing countries in world trade. It was established by United Nations General Assembly on December 30, 1964, and headquarters of UNCTAD is located in Geneva. Some of the reports that are published by the UNCTAD that might be asked in your prelims exam are Trade and Development Report, World Investment Report, Least Developed Countries Report, Information and Economy Report, Technology and Innovation Report, and Commodities and Development Report. So what is the mandate of UNCTAD? What does it do? First is it addresses the macro level developmental challenges that are being faced by the developing countries and least developed countries. Then it helps in achieving integration into the global trading system. So UNCTAD helps the least developed countries and developing countries in achieving that integration in the global trade system. Then it also helps in diversifying their economies to make them less dependent on few commodities. Means it helps in ensuring that these least developed countries which are only located or which are only focusing on few commodities diversify their economies, diversify their commodities market. Then it also limit their exposure to the financial volatility and debt. Time and again UNCTAD keeps on updating these least developed countries and the developing countries about their financial exposure, about their economic stability, about the debt exposure that they face. Then it also attract development friendly investment. That development which is sustainable, which is climate sensitive, which is not creating any issues for the future generation. Then it also helps in increasing access to the digital technologies of the 21st centuries, like new technologies like blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, etc. These access are also being provided by the UNCTAD. Then it also helps in promoting entrepreneurship and innovation through hand-holding, providing training to these least developed and developing countries. Then it also helps local firms to move up towards the value chains. Okay, they also helps in improving the integration towards the value chains so that their losses can be reduced, they make their products become more competitive and their profitability can increase. Then it also helps in speeding up the flow of goods across the borders. It helps in reducing the non-tax barriers that are being imposed on these least developed and developing countries and ensuring that there is seamless movement of different products across the border. Then it also protects the consumer from the abuses from the harmful products, abuses from the defective products. Then it also helps in curbing the regulation that stifle the competition. Some of the predatory pricing like policies which are being followed by some of the higher businesses. So UNCTAD ensures that a level playing field is being provided to all the businesses, to all the companies. Then it also helps in adapting to the climate change and use natural resources more effectively. A sustainable use of natural resources. Over depletion is not being done of these natural resources, are being done by these least developed and developing countries. So these are some of the mandates, or you can say some of the things that UNCTAD focuses majorly in the developing economies. Now we will be looking into some prelims snippets. The first topic is International Labour Organization or ILO. Okay, this was made a United Nations agency in the year 1946. The mandate of ILO is to provide social justice, to advance social justice and promoting the decent work to all the workers that are working in the different parts of the world. Headquarters of ILO is located in Geneva, Switzerland. The parent organization of ILO is Economics and Social Council of the United Nations. If you want to go into the history, in year 1919, as part of Treaty of Versailles, which was treaty which was signed after the World War I. This ILO came into being, means this ILO was set up. It reflects the belief that universal and lasting peace can be accomplished only if it is based on the social justice, only when the every people in the society, particularly the labor, is providing equal respect, equal justice, equal rights in the society. It has 187 member states, 186 out of 193 UN members, and one extra member is Cook Island. Okay, India is member of ILO. The structure of ILO is that it is only tripartite UN agency where governments, employers and worker representatives are the stakeholders in this organization. Now, next topic is S&P. The full form is Standards and Poor's, which is a credit rating agency. Okay, so what is credit rating agency? It is a quantified assessment of a borrower's credit worthiness, means to judge the credit worthiness, whether the loan that is being provided to one particular people, government or company, what is the credit worthiness of that institution, will they able to repay that loan. It is like similar of the CIBIL score that is there for the individuals. Okay, it also provides the credit worthiness of people. Similarly, the S&P ratings also provide the credit worthiness of the different institutions like government or the private companies. Okay, so and under this S&P credit rating agency, there are different grades that are there: AAA, AA plus, AA. It provides us into the detail that what is the credit worthiness of people. Okay, whether it is prime, high grade or upper medium grade. Okay, so S&P keeps on giving the credit or the providing credit rating to the India also and different countries also. Then the next is about the Rudram M second missile, which is a anti-radiation missile. It is the first indigenous air-to-surface anti-radiation missile, and it is developed by the DRDO or Defense Research and Development Organization under the Ministry of Defense. It can hit the radiation target with pinpoint accuracy, and it is a potent weapon for Indian Air Force for suppression of enemy air defense effectively from the large standoff ranges. Means it can be the Indian Air Force can better use through the help of different fighter jets that are there in India. This Rudram 2 missile has a range of 100 to 250 km, and it is made to be integrated with Sukhoi Su-30 Mk1, and it is being used, this Su-30 Mk1 is being used as the primary test platform for this Rudram 2 missile, although it can be used with Mirage 2000, Jaguar, Tejas and Tejas Mark II in future for various offensives, for various safety and security needs of India. Now, the next topic is Asian Development Bank or the ADB, okay, with the aim of which is to fight the poverty in Asia and Pacific in particular. So, the motto, as I said, that fighting poverty in Asia and Pacific, it was formed in year 1966, almost 52 years ago, and it is a type of multilateral development bank, and legal status of this bank is it has been set up by a proper treaty. The purpose of this is social and economic development. The headquarters of this is situated in Manila, Philippines. Okay, the goal is to reduce the poverty, and various other developmental objectives are the promotion of pro-poor sustainable economic growth, supporting social development, facilitating good governance. There are different shareholders in this particular bank. India is also one of the shareholders of the bank. There are different projects, various road and railway projects that are being funded by this ADB, and that is why it is ensuring that there is promotion of pro-poor and sustainable economic growth is happening in the country, in the different parts of Asia and Pacific in particular. Okay, so that was all for today. I hope you liked the session. Thank you for joining this session. All the very best.